So it's Friday. Today I have the most epic thing I have. Oh gosh, every time I make something, I'm impressed with myself. I am just overjoyed. Let me show you. Over crochet hooks. Your girl's got some sewing. So I made this sweet little baby blanket. This sweet little baby blanket. Can you see this elephant? My commission was to make a baby elephant crochet blanket, and then they asked, since I was sewing, if I'm able to make a baby blanket. So I said I'll give it a try, and that is exactly what I did. I had a fantastic teacher, and I also found a video of exactly how I made this. Look at this. Oh my goodness. I had it all wrinkled up because I put it in a bag, but oh my goodness. And this I got at Hobby Lobby, and it's not flannel, but it is so soft and it has a herringbone look to it. And oh my goodness, look at the stitching on that. Look at that. Look at that. I love when the sewing machine makes me look good. This fabric is so cute. Okay, so I got this fabric at Hobby Lobby too, and I'll give it a press again. I showed them, and then I rolled it up to see if maybe they wanted to put it in the elephant basket I made. And so I left it rolled up. But isn't that adorable? And then the back, the stitching matches perfectly, and even if you see it, it's a decorative stitch. I'm so amazed at this baby blanket. I'm so excited, and I didn't want to give it away. It's my very first baby blanket. If you haven't seen my other sewing projects, I'm beginning to sew. This year, I didn't know how to thread the machine. I didn't know how to put in a bobbin, much less fill a bobbin, and I'm just learning so much. Don't be afraid to fall in love with something new. And it doesn't matter if it's not perfect. I never care if I'm perfect or not. I'm sure there's mistakes on this. Actually, there is. Let me see. One side, I believe the edging came out thicker on one side than it did on the other. This one. I feel like this is thinner and this is longer. Yes, it's much longer. Or I should say thicker. So look at the two sides, they don't match. One side is thinner and this side is longer, but it doesn't matter. And then so this is the first thing I have baby made. Now, since I have leftover fabric, this is the first video. I am making this video early, but chances are I'm going to attach more to this video. I'm hopefully planning to make a bib, another baby blanket. So if I do, hello, it's Caroline at For the Love of Crochet, but today is sewing. So it's Friday. Okay, so I have lots to share with you. Last week, as we proceeded off of this last video where I made that amazing baby blanket, I'm so excited, so happy, and loved the fact that I'm on this sewing journey, and I thank you for joining me. However, I did make my daughter's bird, so I'm going to show you that. Although, actually, my first one came out better than my second one. This was done real late at night, and I used a different sewing machine than I did the first one. Therefore, it came out different. And I want to say my first one came out better. So here it is. My stitching is just not the best. I used a different sewing machine, like I said, and I was not able to get the shaping as well as I could have. But she's gonna love it, my daughter. And then here's the underside. It's a great tutorial on YouTube that I mentioned last week. Last week. I showcased this in my Brit Marie Was Here, where Hooked Up with Books at Craftably Ever After is the why I started making this seagull, and then my daughter fell in love with it. So she is getting this one. She's going to hang it up in her room. And I tried to do the better curving, but I had a really hard time doing my seam allowance. The seam allowance gets me on something so tiny and then you can't see it. I'm not very good at using the machine yet, so it was hard for me to see. Anyway, I did it. It could be better, so I need to make more. I'll compare it. You can tell with the first one, the shaping is much more fuller because I was able to see my seam allowance on the machine that I did with this one. So it's a lot fatter or shapelier. Whereas this one, I was too close. And so the shaping did not happen as good as it did on this one. Lesson learned. Learn my machine. So that is the first thing I made. The second thing I made, well, I had, this was shown on my Hooked Up with Books series that I'm doing as well, where this time I attached the ribbon. So this can be a bookmark. It's just 2 pieces of fabric, and this one I glued together, hot glued it together instead of sewing them together. This one I sewed together and it was super tiny. And that's why I have this weird dented head here. But on this one, since I glued it, you know, I'm not getting so much of a dent. There we go. So yeah, I just glued them, and these will be nice little bookmarks. Okay, and then for the third thing, I told you I was working on my very first quilt, and I'm going into a class for this, and it was a scrappy quilt. So I went ahead and prepped a ton of my beginning squares. So here they are. So I've made a bunch. I sewed a bunch of my squares together. So this is the beginning. This is the middle of my square that I am prepping. And I'm going to go again this Saturday. So I made a bunch of those, and I also have a bunch that are halfway done. So I have a huge stack that I have halfway done. So they need their other corners. So yeah, there's just a ton of them here. So I have prepped a lot. And then, of course, these are my first squares. I'm very excited to work on that. Okay, and then Craftably Ever After and I really love chatting together, and the fact that she lives completely across the world makes it really difficult to chat with each other. We have these very small windows when she's not sleeping and I'm not sleeping, very early in the morning and very midnight-ish. Mid-morning and midnight are only times to chat. But we're cooking up another collab. Okay, we just can't help it. We have so many ideas, and then we're just like, ooh, and this, and ooh, and that. And so she is going to be making something, and I have started making something to go with her something. So After and I are going to be doing a collab, maybe a tutorial type collab where you make her something and it goes with my something, and the something is this. Now it's not quite finished yet, but look at that. with sewing, you can make your own stockings in whatever fabrics you want and whatever colors you want, as many as you want, right? As if you change with the seasons. I actually still have the stockings from when my children were little, and they're the ones that when they were first born, I bought them a stocking, and those are the ones that they still have and that I still use. And I just thought, you know what, with all the skills I got going on right now, I think it's time to update because all my kids have grown up and moved out. And now they need their own stockings for their own house. And so I think I want to make stockings. And so now my hubs drew the template that I would cut out. So he just drew a big boot, and then I cut it out on my fabric. I cut two sides, put the right sides together and sewed around, turned it inside out, and voila. So I don't have a finished seam here at the top because I'm thinking of some ideas of what I would like to put at the top. And then we definitely needed a pocket for our little collab. So I made a pocket. Now, this isn't the best constructed pocket, you know. This was before I even had a sewing class that taught me how to make this little patch, this quilt, my very first square. And so basically all I did was took a bunch of little squares, and if you can see, they're not even lined up together. But you know what? It makes it that much special, and it gives it that homemade look, handmade, stitched with love. And I like it. I like it a lot. But these weren't exactly the fabrics that I was going for. This was my practice piece. Therefore, I used pieces that I didn't think I would like as a stocking, you know, just something to practice with. But it actually turned out cute. Has that country vibe, homey style. I don't know. You know what? I'm a minimalist. I don't know how to decorate. I don't wear jewelry. I don't really decorate. I'm not one of those ones that change with seasons. I like very simple stuff, and I like modern. So anyway, I didn't think I was going to like it this much, but I actually do like it. I like it a lot. Okay, but after I went to that class, I did cut up some squares. Now I messed up in my sewing machine, so I lost a square, so I had to redesign, which is why I have this off square here. This originally was going to have it was going to be mainly these two fabrics, but I messed up, and as I was putting it in, and I do not have any more of this fabric, and so I just, you know, again, this was a practice piece. And so look at those lines match up quite nicely. So I was going to put it to where this is the top. And that's how it's going to go on the stocking. But now that I've done it, I can tell that I really like all the mismatched ones way better than a uniform look. Do you see what I mean? Like this homey style, you just use what you have and put them together and see what you get. And even if they don't line up perfectly, it's okay. It's just so sweet looking. I like it better than my perfect little square here, even though it's mismatched. But, you know, live and learn. Now I know that I really like all the different ones rather than trying to make a design. But Craftably Ever After and I are going to get together, and she's going to make something crochet. Amigurumi's her favorite. And I'm making this, and then you put our two things together to make a special gift. As far as projects to look forward coming up, I really want to make a bib. Since I made the baby blanket, I really want to make a burp cloth and a bib, because I have a little bit of leftover, and you know, I don't have any babies, and it's not really enough to make another blanket. So I would really like to make something small like that. But going off that elephant theme, my sister bought me some more fabric, and so I got this fabric, and I really am going to pair it with this, which isn't flannel. It's so much softer than flannel. I mean, it's a little softer than flannel. Now, I found both of these at Hobby Lobby. $2 a yard, $3 a yard. I mean, they have clearance right now. So I bought, she gave me the money to buy this, and I picked this one. And then I bought this because I bought that pink one. Well, this one is nice. So now I'm going to make a boy one. And I want to make a self-binding baby blanket. And it's just a little differently made than the baby blanket that you saw at the beginning. But it's kind of the same. So it will still look exactly the same, but I want to say it cuts down on a step or two. It makes it look really easy. So that is So It's Friday. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I will hopefully try to keep at least 2 of these going a month. Really enjoy this sewing journey. So I hope to see you again soon. And if you have any ideas for me or any tutorials that you think I should follow or YouTubers you think I should follow, put them down in the links or follow me on Instagram and message me. I know it's a little easier to share there than it is on YouTube. I do have one more little thing I need to do. My son wants this hat to have little tabs right here. And so I bought this, which is usually used for masks, face masks, which are really thin, soft material. And then these little pegs that will slide up and down to where you can have it extend or out, because he wants this not to be flyaway, you know, if a wind comes through. So I need to figure out how to do that or how to attach it. I don't know whether to put little loops in here and then put the strings on, or just sew the strings directly on. I don't know what to do. So I'll be working on this too. Talk to you soon. Bye.